Sawasdee ka, good evening, and TGIF. Welcome to Thai PBS World Tonight. With us, I'm Hatay Shakitiranan.
And I'm Nabunak, and kicking off the program tonight with some updates on the vaccination campaign as well as the procurement. Recently, Thammasat University has entered into agreements with two private hospitals to procure 7 million doses of Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, and they are to be distributed to a network of private hospitals as well. The university has also contacted a vaccine institute in an Eastern European country with the help of the Thai embassy there to seek the donation of 3 million doses of Moderna vaccine. On the Facebook page of Thammasat Field Hospital on Thursday, the university said that in the past 8 weeks, with the approval of the university's council, they have been working really hard to procure vaccines and other medical supplies for the Thai people and patients at the Thammasat Field Hospital. Back in September, the university signed a deal with a private hospital to procure 2 million doses of Moderna to be administered through private hospitals. It also said that all the expenses would be borne by the private hospital, with 100,000 doses from this deal being donated to Thammasat, which will be administered to patients and the general public free of charge. For the 5 million doses of Pfizer and Moderna, the university said a deal was agreed in late September with a private hospital, which will be responsible for paying all the expenses. Thammasat will also receive a portion of vaccine from this deal, amounting to several 100,000 doses, as the donation and the vaccine will be administered to the people for free. As for the 3 million doses of Moderna to be donated by a European Vaccine Institute, the university will be responsible for the logistic costs. Furthermore, in late August, the university opened negotiations with a European vaccine manufacturer to join the company in the phase 3 trial of its protein-based vaccine to be conducted in Thailand. And if the vaccine is approved by the WHO within December, the university hopes to be able to procure the protein-based vaccine from the firm in collaboration with an as yet unnamed business operator in Thailand.
And also, Thammasat University has entered into a deal with a generic drug manufacturer in India for joint human trials of the efficacy of the India-produced antiviral molnupiravir drug in COVID-19 patients in Thailand, with the cost of the local trials to be borne by the university. The university plans to procure up to 200,000 capsules of the molnupiravir for local patients as well. And as of today, 25 million people, or about 36% of the population, have received 2 vaccine doses, while 1.8 million others, or about 27%, have received their booster doses. So that's actually we can see that the vaccination campaign is being a little bit accelerated, but the number is still a bit low from what we tried to target before.
Exactly, but it's nice to see that many of the authorities are trying to speed up the mass inoculations as well as the third booster shots as well. And it's also good news that the mRNA vaccines are to be procured a lot more, so that those who have been waiting for either the Pfizer or the Moderna, they have their hopes up during this time.
Exactly. So we're getting closer to that dream, that hopes that people had before. There were, if you remember, there were protests calling for mRNA vaccines, and we're getting really close there.
Right.
And now let's move on to another big issue, which is the flooding situation in Thailand. And 20 major dams and reservoirs are in danger of overflowing, while people living downstream are also urged to brace for possible impacts as well. Irrigation officials have been advised by the Thailand's Office of the National Water Command Center to manage the discharge of excess water from Thailand's 20 major dams and reservoirs properly to reduce impacts on downstream communities and farmland, as they are in danger of overflowing due to heavy rain. The officials were also instructed to warn people living downstream of the dams to brace for possible impacts of the discharge of huge volumes of excess water to ease pressure on the dams. And the ones listed as being at risk are as follow: Memok, Kwan Noi Bamrung Dan, and Thap Salao in the north. In the northeast, we have Ubon Rat, Julapon, Lam Takong, Lam Prapleung, Lam Munbon, Lam Se, Lam Nang Rong, and Sirinton dams. And in the central regions, we have Basak Cholasit and Brazil dams. And we also have Kundan, Prakan Chon. And in the western region, we have Sinakarin, Wachila Longgon, Gangrajan, and Branbury dams, as well as a couple more in the eastern region as well. Meanwhile, in the central province of Saraburi, numerous houses located along the banks of Basak River, as well as a huge Yangna tree at a riverside temple said to be over 100 years old, have fallen after the water level in the river dropped rapidly. So one of the riverside house owners actually told Thai PBS that her house collapsed on Wednesday morning after the riverbank caved in, adding that this was not the first time, as her first home also collapsed about a decade ago. She also noted that if excess water had been discharged properly through the Basak Dam, the riverbank would not have caved in.
At the same time, the Deputy Director General of the Marine Department, Sompong Jirasirilerth, who inspected the Basak River banks, admitted that the situation is critical as more cave-ins are expected. He warned people living close to the river to leave the area immediately if they find cracks on the ground and to move their belongings further away from the riverbanks. Today, the Meteorological Department predicted less rain in the northern parts of the northeast after the tropical depression Kompasu weakened into a low-pressure cell over northern Vietnam. However, it warned that the southern parts of the northeast, central, eastern, and southern regions still faces heavy to very heavy rainfall because of the monsoon drought.
Right, so it's October, mid-October, so it's still in the middle, towards the end of the rainy season. We still expect a lot of rain and storms coming in, and the flooding situation, as you can see, is still not eased yet.
Right, even though it's not eased, we can hear that many of the provinces have raised their guards really high, giving out warnings to people living along the rivers and near their dams to evacuate as soon as possible, or at least put their belongings away from the river or put on to the higher grounds. Even places like Bangkok and Nonthaburi, which is pretty much close to the Chao Phraya River with the communities, they've also been warned to brace for possible flooding as well if there has been a discharge of excessive water. Now let's move on to something lighter. For those who've been dreaming to travel to Similan Islands, this is definitely good news for you because the Similan Islands have now reopened under the new normal measures. Hมู่เกาะ Similan National Park in the southern province of Phang Nga has reopened to tourists under its new normal measures with no more than 3,850 visitors allowed per day. The head of the national park said that they are fully prepared to welcome tourists again, and the Similan Islands will be open for 7 months from October 15th, which is today, until May 15th next year. Under its new normal measures, no more than 3,850 tourists will be allowed on the Similan Islands per day, 3,325 of whom are allowed for one-day trips, and 525 are allowed for diving. As Phang Nga is part of the Phuket Sandbox 7+7 extension, all businesses must have SHA Plus certification. Businesses who have passed the certification are allowed to purchase entry tickets to Similan Islands, while those who do not have the certification must provide proof that they're fully vaccinated and have tested negative before purchasing entry tickets. And travelers who wish to go to the Similan Islands can purchase entry tickets from the Similan National Park officials or book the tickets through tour operators. And most importantly, tourists must be fully vaccinated and must test negative for COVID-19 before traveling to the islands. And within the national park, sea patrol boats are also deployed at all 21 diving spots in the Similan Islands, and all national park officials have all been fully vaccinated with 3 doses. And as you're all aware, the Similan Islands are among the most popular destinations in Thailand, widely recognized for having the best diving spots and pristine beaches. And the islands are usually open to tourism from October until May and are closed for the remaining months due to the monsoon season and to allow its nature to be rehabilitated. And I am one of those people who wish to travel to Similan Islands once in a lifetime because the diving spots and the beaches are definitely very beautiful as well. And I had a chance to talk to some of the tour guides who have been to Similan Islands before. They actually suggested that although the opening starts from October, it is suggested that we should go during January, February, and March instead, because when we travel from the port to the islands, it will not be so bumpy.
Right. I mean, who wouldn't want to go? I, for one, would love to, of course, especially now that they have really safe and well thought out measures in place. So we can also be assured that it will not get too overcrowded as well. And of course, it's been more than 1.5 years now living with the pandemic. So of course, things are opening up, things are starting. It's just the beginning of things being a little bit more normal.
Exactly.
And let's end the program with news about the celebrities. So you might have heard from a day or two ago about the idea of drawing in the K-pop sensation Lisa of Blackpink, and also opera singer Andrea Bocelli to come to Thailand to celebrate in the New Year countdowns as well. And that actually would require a big budget of 200 million baht for their appearances. So actually, we got a lot of reactions from people who think whether or not it's actually really worth it. So according to the Association of Thai Travel Agents, Secretary General Adit Chai Ratananon, that's actually really worthwhile. So he said, if we think that her Lisa's appearance attracts, let's say, 1 million foreign tourists into Thailand, each of them spends an average of 75,000 baht, that would translate into 75 billion baht in foreign exchange. This is what he said, saying that it is a very rare occasion that a Thai-born artist has shot to worldwide fame, which is one music video reflecting the Thai identity. Lisa's solo debut mini album, Lisa, has attracted, 73.6 million views in 24 hours, which won her a Guinness World Record title for the YouTube views for 1 hour. So Tourism and Sports Minister Pipat Prashikit Pragan said that Andrea Bocelli's appearance fee will be a little bit higher than Lisa's, which is a little bit surprising. But of course, he's really known worldwide for his talent. The overall expenses for organizing the events in Bangkok and Phuket are estimated at between 400 and 500 million baht, including the 2 million baht appearance fees, which will be drawn from the state's budget, with the rest being borne by supporters in the private sector. So, of course, this has been a talk of the town, and a lot of people have opinions about it. For example, Seri Ruam Thai Party list MP Rewat Sarutwait, however, voiced his disagreement with the use of taxpayers' money to boost tourism, saying that there is actually a better way to build confidence in Thailand among foreigners. and is to have most of the Thai population vaccinated and easy access to the COVID test. And Bangkok Governor Aswin Kwanmueng also said he could not yet confirm whether a New Year countdown could actually be held in Bangkok. So before we even debate if it's even worth it, we still don't know if this New Year celebration would be held.
And speaking of celebrities, even though we don't know yet whether Lisa and the opera singer can join us in Thailand's New Year celebrations, one celebrity is already here in Bangkok, and that is Russell Crowe. The Hollywood actor has been in Thailand and is now posting pictures on the streets of Bangkok after entering the country through the Phuket Sandbox scheme. He shared his experience during the 14-day quarantine, explaining to his followers that if they're fully vaccinated, they can fly to Phuket to roam the islands freely, and added that Thais are friendly and the food is amazing. He also encouraged others to travel to Thailand now that there is a firm date for the reopening of borders. The 57-year-old Hollywood star of Gladiator also posted pictures of himself all over Bangkok with the famous tuk-tuks, Chinese shrines, and the Kalyanamit temple in his selfies. One tweet which caught the eyes of Thai netizens shows a picture of the infamous rat's nest of electrical and telephone wires with a caption, "Bangkok Dreaming," causing a stir online with people tweeting, "Welcome to Bangkok," pointing out that the star has truly reached the capital. So this is definitely very interesting right here. And with Russell Crowe's post, it will definitely encourage people to come to Thailand a lot more, not only with the pictures, but also the information about the quarantine and the Phuket Sandbox as well.
That's actually all the free publicity right there. So actually, you don't really need to invest up to 200 million baht or even more. So that's actually a really good opportunity for Thailand, for the actor to be promoting our sandbox program as well. And you have to admire him being quite fair. He's not just blindly pressing Thailand is a wonderful country, but also there's good and bads and everything. So, of course, the electrical wires, one of our landmarks, which becomes quite inevitable now. So that's great. That's real Bangkok here.
Exactly. And back to the issue with Lisa, it sounds like a very bold move for the government to be inviting Lisa to join the New Year celebrations. This is very ambitious, to be really honest, because we've never seen any sort of invite from global stars, but we'll have to see whether they actually made a success in terms of inviting her to join the celebrations.
Right. Let's wait and see. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Thai PBS World tonight. Do catch us like this every weekday at 7 p.m. for all the top stories, explainers, and of course, you can't miss our cheeky commentaries. We hope you have a great weekend ahead.
And don't forget, tonight at 11 p.m. on TV, we still have a weekly program this week with Thai PBS World. So don't forget to catch that on Thai PBS channel. At the same time, we also have social media as well as our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest updates about Thailand as well as analyses. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and we'll see you next Monday. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีค่ะ